Yeah, on K-State TCU, I mean, the line is 1.5. Like, the maddening thing about this K-State TCU game is that this very easily could have been a game where we're talking about, can K-State actually get back in this Big 12 race? Had they just not blown a 14-point lead with the ball in the fourth quarter in Waco last week, you'd be like, okay, well, hold up. So they're 2-1 in the Big 12. They would be coming back home. They might be favored in that respect, or, like a pick 'em kind of game against TCU at home. Because to me, TCU is a pretty similar team to Baylor. It's just this time you get them in front of your home crowd at 2:30 on a Great Fall Saturday. And you'd be like, hey, if they win this game, then they've got a bye. Then they go to Lawrence. And, well, that will be a really tough game. It is winnable. And, man, if you win that, then you're 4-1 in the Big 12. Then you got momentum. Then you're believing. Like, it was all out there. It was all out there, ready to go. And instead, you cough up the lead. So many things were mismanaged down the stretch of that game. Yes, Avery Johnson's interception was horrible, but they have first and goal at the 2. Some of the play calling that happened after that, Coach Klieman even called out the third and goal play call in the press conference on Monday. It was just, it was brutal, everything that happened there. The defense gave up a 3-play Michael Trigg only touchdown drive, which is going to happen. I'm not blaming the defense so much for what happened in the game, but just everything fell apart. And now you're sitting here like, well, I guess the question for K-State once again, now at 2-4, is like, can you get effort? You've gotten effort out of them the last 2 games. Can you get effort? Because they did not play with any effort in the 3 non-conference games. Arizona, Army, North Dakota. It was wretched. It was horrible. It was terrible. It was about as bad as you'll see in college football. So if they get another effort where they care, I mean, they can definitely win the game. I don't know what's really left to actually accomplish this season. Realistically, they still have Texas Tech on the schedule. They have to go to Utah in November, which, I mean, I would honestly maybe put the odds of winning that game lower than beating Texas Tech at home, just because of going to play a physical, tough team in the cold in November on the road. Not a chance that this team has it in them based on what we've seen this year. So I don't know what significantly you could actually accomplish for this team. And so do you keep guys still locked in and motivated? It feels like Chris Klieman has kind of openly expressed some frustration, if you're reading between the lines, with Dylan Edwards not being healthy or ready or locked in. He was in and out of the lineup again on Saturday in Waco. They got a lot of problems, but they also have a lot of talent. They have guys stepping up and making plays for a lot of that Baylor game. So they're capable of winning. And TCU is capable of playing poorly enough to dig themselves a hole and get in trouble. I mean, they did it against Colorado just last week. Against Arizona State, it was kind of flipped, right? They jump out 17-0, and they can't play a complete game to see that one through. And part of the reason that I think TCU is in that situation is because they don't have a running game. They have to rely on Josh Hoover to do everything offensively. They don't have a running game, and so you can't really salt anything away. So they're prone to turning it over. They're prone to 3-and-outs more that way than if you could just hand the ball off and consistently grind the clock and move the ball. So I think that could have a tendency to keep teams in games. So, I mean, I do expect a relatively close game. Obviously, it's one that, like TCU, you can't be losing that. If you're fancying yourself a legitimate Big 12 title contender, can't be losing that game. Cannot be losing that game at all. So I guess that's sort of how I see things shaping up for TCU, K-State, in Manhattan. It's a shame for K-State's season that this one isn't going to be more meaningful. And for TCU, they've got a chance to make this meaningful, but it's just all going to depend on what happens after that game. Then you look back on it and say, well, yeah, that was a game that they definitely still had to have. So let's see. Yeah, Jeremy, I mean, it's a good point. Sadly, K-State should be the tough physical team that someone else is playing in the cold. I mean, they should be, but that's not who they are. That's not who they've been the last 2 years. And I mean, look, we can extend that to the end of 23 when there was the obvious snow game against Iowa State and Abu Sama, who is still running from that game. I think that 23 team had kind of given up by that game. And then 24-25, like they're talented,
They've got guys that can make plays, and when things are going well, they can be pretty good. I don't think they handle adversity very well. They're just they're not. They don't check the boxes for a team that's very tough right now, unfortunately. So yes, Sean, I agree. K-State, I think, will struggle to get bowl eligible for sure this year. But again, like my response, I don't really care. I mean, I would prefer that they win more games just for the sake of winning games. I don't really care for the sake of going to a lower level bowl game. Like I don't know. It does. I was talking to someone, maybe it was 3 earlier this week, right? I feel like K-State's fan base is one that has been behind the curve of letting go of what it means to play in bowl games in the year 2025. I mean, it just, they are meaningless, people. They are meaningless. All right, Sean, appreciate that. I think I'm missing Bob. Bob, let me pop in and get your other super chat here. Appreciate you, Bob. You guys can leave a super chat by clicking the $ below the chat box. Appreciate everybody who does that. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. All of that is very, very helpful. OFBnews.com to subscribe to the Big 12 Open for Business Big 12 newsletter. So Bob says, what wins would be best for the Big 12 this week? We don't want Texas Tech to lose. I mean, at this point, the best thing for the Big 12 is for Texas Tech to go unbeaten. And look, this is nothing against anybody's team, but if we're just objectively saying, because really the question you're asking there is what is best for the Big 12 to get 2 teams into the playoff? So you can't have Texas Tech lose. I think it would be better to keep BYU unbeaten, keep them rolling through right now. Utah, Arizona State, it's just sort of like take your pick. I think both of those teams have cachet built up because of what Arizona State did last year and what Utah has done, for the last 25 years. So whoever wants to win that game is fine. Maybe you could lean and say, like, I guess if you're trying to make a case, like Utah would have a more manageable schedule. So if they win, better chance that they get through the Big 12 title game with 1 loss. But then, I don't know, we've already seen them get decleated by Tech. So I don't have a strong lean there. Iowa State, Colorado, I think you'd rather have Iowa State win that game to keep them in legit at-large contention, keep them ranked. And I didn't talk a ton about that game. It surprises me that it's only a 2.5-point line. Iowa State minus 2.5 in Boulder. Some of that is like Iowa State's beat up. Carson Hansen looked like had concussion issues in the second half of the game last week. Cincinnati, obviously, Jontez Williams is out. You're down both corners now. Rocco Becht was getting beat up again. Iowa State badly needs the bye week that's coming up after this Colorado game. So just survive in advance. Get to 6-1, get a little bit healthier, and then play BYU. Then it becomes, tougher part of the Iowa State schedule too. And Colorado, I guess part of the reason it's 2.5 is like Colorado's been right there with every top 25 team that they've played this year, and particularly in Boulder. Like they've jumped out to leads. They have played the same game like 3 times. Georgia Tech, BYU, TCU. They jump out to a big lead. They cough it up. They get back into it and either take the lead or tie it, and then they lose in heartbreaking fashion in the fourth quarter. They just don't have guys that are stepping up and making plays. Like Caden Salter has not been that guy to make the big plays when it really matters, when they need somebody to deliver in the clutch. Houston, Oklahoma State, yeah, I mean, you don't need anybody losing to Oklahoma State. No offense, Cowboys. But if we're talking about best case scenario for the league, UCF, Cincinnati, you would want Cincinnati to win. You want all these teams that are off to like 4-1, 5-1 starts to continue to pile up wins. K-State, TCU, same deal there. You'd want TCU to win. Just build up as many teams as you can so that you create more big games down the stretch of the season here, games that feel big and meaningful. And you want somebody to emerge as a real formidable challenger to Texas Tech. I think would be your best case scenario for the Big 12.